taking three.
Going for the St. Louis now.
Oh no!
Son of a bitch.
You get your two?
Yeah. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thotgor here, of course. And today we've got a replay submitted by Puddahead. Yes, this was an excellent game, and it really takes back to, you know, no matter how good you are at ships, no matter how, you know, terrible the matchmaking is, no matter how awful the situation is, no matter what, right? You never give up. Just never give up. Always attempt something. Always try. And you never know. Things could really work out well for you. So we can see that Puddahead is in his Omaha today, and we are on Solomon Islands. Yeah, I had to think about that for a minute there. Anyway, we're on Solomon Islands, and we're taking a look around. I mean, where he spawned, so he, you know, favors the south here. Generally speaking, I tend to go to the north on this map, but it doesn't always happen that way. And to be frank, generally when I go to the south, that's where Puddahead's going to end up today. But when I do go down here, things usually do go quite well, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. But anyway, so we can see the team is splitting up here, right? Normal beginning, opening stuff going on now. People are banting in chat here as well. Now, another thing to keep in mind in the battle is the fact that there are actually 2 aircraft carriers on each side, yeah. And Puddahead, I mean, he's in a great ship to be able to deal with that and to cope with that. The Omaha has some pretty good AA on it, and I'm pretty sure that this is the final hull upgrade, basically like the AA upgrade for the Omaha. Correct me if I'm wrong, though, obviously. So that's not too bad. And it's interesting to see aircraft carriers, isn't it? We've talked about it before, but frankly, it seems as though aircraft carriers are making a comeback in the game, which is good. We really do need to have aircraft carriers in the game. They need to be here, and you know, you need to have battles with aircraft carriers. It's fun not to, right? It's fun not to. But they really are a critical component, I think, of the flow of the battle, and adding that extra dynamic there that, yeah, I think it's required. But anyway, won't go too far into that. Now, Puddahead, as you can see, is heading off here to the south. You might notice here at times things jump around. You might have seen it twice now already, I believe. Yeah, there's another time. I'm not sure, it's just part of the replay, but whatever. You know, the replay system is a little wonky. But whatever, got the kill. Fantastic. Moving right along, Puddahead continues to move into the south, right? And you can see taking shots of opportunity off, right? As these destroyers are popping in and out of view and coming up into Puddahead's range, obviously just taking shots off them. And this is something you really want to do as well. We talk about it all the time, but I find generally people don't do it. Not everyone does it. And it surprises me. It really does. If I have a shot on a ship, I'm taking the shot. Or at least, as you guys know, I'm going to take a look at it and think about it, right? See if I have that shot. We've got the Tenryu in the background here, and he's reversing. This is something else I see people do all the time, and I don't really understand it. I can get it when you're in a battleship. I get it when you're in a battleship and you're nose on to the target and you're reversing away. I get it, understand, not a problem. Tenryu here, though. yeah, reversing, and our aircraft carrier was all over that. That was a great kill by the aircraft carrier, so fantastic, or Puddahead's aircraft carrier. So fantastic job there. Tenryu's gone. Now we've got this Miyogi moving down. He's a pretty big threat. I mean, this is a tier 5 battle, but still, Miyogi at tier 4, he's fully upgraded. That's a pretty good and decent battleship. If he can manage to actually get a nice citadel hit, it'll do a lot of damage, especially to an Omaha like this. Puddahead's not alone, though. We can see some allies here off to the starboard side of the ship. So that is fantastic, because it gives something else for the Miyogi to shoot at, hopefully not Puddahead, right? And that's what you sort of want to have happen. In the background as well, behind Puddahead, you'll notice that there are some more allies back there supporting him, specifically a battleship as well, or at least another battleship. So there up pops a tier 5 Russian destroyer, so yeah, we gotta do something about this guy, because he can be a real pest. These Russian destroyers, I mean, it's something else. I'm still trying to get better with the Russian destroyers, and maybe the Ognavoy isn't the ship to do it on. I haven't really been playing my Ognavoy that much lately anyway. Really focused on getting my Zao. That's what I've been doing as of late. But anyway, these Russian destroyers will show up if it's a good player. If it's not me, I guess, they will show up at the most inopportune time when you're on the lowest health, or you just used a repair and you can't survive another fire, something like that, right? They show up at that time, gun you down, and it's all over. It is crazy what they can do, what they can pull off. Really it's something else. So really want to get the Russian destroyer gone here. This player, though, I mean, riding the line, right? I don't think that riding the line is a great tactic. It never really was a great tactic, in my opinion, anyway. My opinion. Especially now, though. I mean, he's reducing speed, like 50% throttle. He's not going to be able to get out of this situation. He's just basically, I don't know, given Puddahead and or his allies around him the kill, right? And they are all basically focused on this guy. Well, the cruisers are focused on this guy, I should say, because you will notice, right, the Miyogi that we were speaking of earlier is still around. There he is right there. And you can see that, he's been dueling out with the Allied New York. Now, the Allied New York has been paying quite a price for this. But it doesn't really matter, right? Because there's another battleship right in the background to take the place. So, final few shots going into the Tier 5 Russian destroyer here. You'll also take the time just to notice at the north that things are going decently up there. At least, people are holding their own. It seems like they are, right? Anyway, so Puddahead just got his first kill, killed off the Russian destroyer. Fantastic. Now we can see the Miyogi. He's over there, and we really want to pay attention to the Miyogi as well. Just because, you don't want to underestimate that sort of battleship at this tier. He can do a lot of damage. Now, that was pretty awesome. Those dive bombers came in, and luckily, they all missed. Not too bad at all, but now we have 2 more torpedo bomber squadrons coming in here as well, so, oh god. Now this, if you would have turned in Puddahead, you would have missed all of these torpedoes. It would have been amazing. But takes 2 torpedoes, but just wait, yeah. Taking it back here now to never giving up. Just never give up. So, whatever, torpedoes have been hit, that's fine, but pulls off a nice maneuver there and manages to dodge the final torpedo. There's the Edmund, yeah. This Furitaka that Puddahead's shooting at is actually AFK right now. AFK the whole game, actually. And there we go. There's another battleship in the background. So you can see, once came around the south here, there are a lot of enemy ships to sort of deal with. The Omaha does have good range on it. Decent range anyway. Nothing compared to a Murmansk, I should say. But it's just because the Murmansk is a scout plane. But anyway, lots of targets to deal with, and you got to kind of pick the targets that you want to try and focus on. Maybe take a look as well if what the team is focused on, and if you can shoot at the enemy ship that the team is focused on. If it's within your range, go ahead and shoot at that target. In this situation, though, with I think it's an Edmund and maybe a Tier 3 cruiser that is supporting Puddahead right now, so it's not too great. However, never want to give up, right? Never give up. Just never give up. So Puddahead, he's going to keep calm. He's going to keep it together here. He's turning back around to move back in here, sort of move up to the north, and just continue to put fire into the enemies, using range to his advantage right now, because he really doesn't have that many hit points remaining to be able to afford any mistakes, right? You may be able to take 1 or 2 more hits, maybe, depending on where they hit, basically. So we can see enemy battleship, enemy aircraft carrier. Now, Furitaka is still AFK, but the enemy Miyogi is still over here. And the enemy Miyogi was what I was concerned about when I was watching the replay. Just because I know that, basically one shot from that enemy Miyogi, because he has a much better range than, say, American battleship over here, that he could really take out someone, do a bunch of damage, Puddahead specifically, right? And that would just suck. But anyway, Puddahead manages to keep calm, putting shots into the American battleship that's pulling up along here and giving a nice broadside, right? Just a matter of arching in these shells to start getting some hit points here. or sorry, to start setting some fires rather, getting hit points gone. Yeah. So really focused on this guy, and you can see as well in the north, those Allied ships are still duking it out. But in the north, the Allied ships up there really have to deal with airstrikes from the enemy aircraft carriers. You'll notice in the south that Puddahead and his allies down here really only had to suffer that one airstrike, and then basically the aircraft went to the north and started dealing with those guys, because those guys were, pushing around, and that is the weaker flank right now for the enemy, obviously, right? Taking a look at where the enemy are. But now that I say that, and knowing what's going on here as well, because it's you'll see, the enemy are kind of running away at this point. It's not going so well for them. Now, the two Allied cruisers that Puddahead had with him are both gone. That's not really a surprise. It was an Edmund and, I don't know, maybe a Tier 3 German cruiser as well. They're both gone now, and it's just Puddahead down here. So, it's at this point that you want to be the most careful, because now there are no other targets for the enemy to focus on. They are now going to be focused on you. At the very least, given that there are 3 targets out here to shoot at, one is AFK, so, you only have to worry about the 2 battleships and hopefully be able to maneuver a little here, right? So we still have these guys going down, putting some shots into the AFK for Thotgor here and there. That was a pretty big hit from the American battleship. Wasn't too great. We've got more shots coming in and do a bit more damage, so get a little lucky on that one. Not a big, not too bad. Turning and maneuvering, right? Trying not to present broadsides, or at least when it's available, I guess, in this replay. But up comes the enemy Myogi. Now, the enemy Myogi, we've been fighting against this guy, basically since the beginning. He's down to half health now, right? Still a lot of health, given how much Puddahead has remaining, and what he has to deal with here. I mean, this American battleship has a lot of health as well. That was a pretty big hit. Puddahead's on fire, but he manages to set fire to another fire to, I think it was the Thotgor once again, yeah. And the Thotgor is just going to sit there and burn, right? Because he's AFK. Lining up torpedoes on the Thotgor, but there are shells coming in from the American battleship. Luckily, getting really lucky here with their aim. And Puddahead has no hit points remaining. It's really, really low now. So now setting fire to the Myogi. And the Myogi immediately puts this fire out, right? You'll notice that right away. Now, setting fire again to the Myogi. Now, obviously, the repair ability was still going, so that fire didn't take, didn't actually get set. But there's a third fire that did actually get set. So this Myogi, there's nothing that this guy can do. He's just going to be burning now for the next little while, which is fantastic. While that's taking place, it's circling around the ship, lining up more torpedoes that we can on the AFK for Thotgor. Unfortunately, torpedoes, don't actually hit anything. I think they're out of range, actually. I'm not sure what the range on the American torpedoes are. I think it was 5.5 kilometers last time I was in Omaha. But anyway, the fires on the Thotgor, have gone out. So given that he's AFK, why not put a few shots into that guy, set some more fires, and just let him burn out while we're dealing with the enemy Myogi. American battleship is still putting shots into Puddahead, but his fire and the accuracy of that American battleship is just atrocious. That player right now, so. Puddahead is using this to his advantage and burning down the enemy Myogi. This guy has got to go. It's got to happen. You'll notice now that Puddahead's team, they're down a ship, right? Thankfully, Puddahead just took out the Myogi, got an arsonist for it as well, so that is great. Putting more shots into the Thotgor here, trying to light another fire to this guy, and Puddahead is, using the island right now as cover against the American battleship. This is important. Remember, use cover when you can, because Puddahead doesn't have many hit points remaining, right? If he can stand off, set a fire to the Thotgor here, and then reassess the situation, see where he's needed, what's going on, because right now it's only him and another allied ship. I think it's the battleship, yeah, another Allied battleship here, and 2 aircraft carriers remaining. And the enemy has the same thing. Well, in terms of number of ships, 2 aircraft carriers remaining. Well, there we go. They just lost another ship. So now 2 aircraft carriers remaining, and just the American battleship. So okay, that's not too bad. Puddahead circles around, making his way back over here, right, to be able to start putting shots into the Langley. So this is great. Now if we take a look, we can see that the American battleship as well, he's concentrated, you know, further up to the north. So for now we are out of the American battleship range, so that is not too shabby. So while this is happening, we can move in here and take advantage of the situation, you know, press home the attack here and get this aircraft carrier gone, or at least start setting fires to him, you know, and doing damage over time to this Langley, just to get hit points gone and eventually, you know, obviously kill him. While that is all going on here as well, I mean, you got to take a look and take stock of the whole situation, especially when you are on this little health. And again, you know, taking it back to never giving up. It would be very easy to just charge in here and, you know, guns blazing and just go, oh, you know, whatever, I only had that many hit points, what could you expect of me? That, and I do it too, you know, I'm guilty of that too sometimes. But that is just so defeatist, right? Even though you might have 1 hit point remaining, doesn't mean your guns are going to do any less damage. They will still do the same amount of damage no matter what. So no matter, you know, what's going on, never give up. You always want to try, right? Hit points have nothing to do with damage of your guns. Sure, it'll affect how you play your ship, but it's not going to affect the damage that you can do. So always try. Not like this Langley over here. The Langley is stopped, yeah. You can see him there. Basically he's given up, or you know, just out of planes, and there's nothing more he can do. I mean, to be fair, what is a Langley going to do? But I don't know, you could at least drive away at full speed. That's about all you can do. So only the Langley remaining. There's also, I think it's a Zihu, the Tier 5 Japanese aircraft carrier remaining, and then there is still the battleship. Now the battleship is still sort of out of range at this time. I mean, you can see Puddahead's Arkansas Betas, the battleship Puddahead's team has remaining. You can see that this guy did come through the channel in the center, and he's sort of moving up now. Puddahead just earned himself a high caliber. Arkansas Beta, though, is coming under air attack by some torpedo bombers. Doesn't seem to be that big of a deal because, you know, he survives it, so that's pretty good. Because we're going to need the firepower, even though enemy battleship, I mean, look how far off that guy is. That enemy battleship, right, he's basically taken himself out of the battle. He's so slow and his range is so limited that there's not a whole lot that guy's going to be able to do from that far up. Yeah, something battleship drivers you really want to watch. There we go. Aircraft carrier's gone. Langley's dead. So that is another kill for Puddahead. Fantastic job. You know, something to go along with the arsonist and high caliber that he's already earned. You know, see if we can rack up anything else. Maybe a Confederate, who knows? There is an enemy aircraft carrier putting shots into this guy. Just immediately, you know, trying to do as much damage as we possibly can. Interesting to note that there's armor piercing loaded now. Yeah, I guess, you know, armor piercing will do a bunch of damage to aircraft carriers as long as you can get the Citadel on it. Otherwise, yeah, you're going to want to set fire to those things, especially considering the fires on deck are going to prevent the enemy aircraft carrier from launching and landing planes. Yes, it will. So that's something to keep in mind anyway. Anyway, putting shots into the enemy Zihu, there we go. There's a nice Confederate medal. Unfortunately, enemy torpedo bomber managed to get a torpedo off, is on his way into Puddahead, but never actually hits it. Yes, I do believe that was secondary guns from the Zihu, but, you know, what a run, what a push, and Puddahead was on, what was it, like 317 health, maybe less, for a really quite some time, so... And in that time, you know, managed to earn himself the arsonist, high caliber, and Confederate. So not too bad at all on Puddahead's behalf. Now we still have the allied Arkansas beta here in cap. He manages to finish off the enemy Zuhu, so that is fantastic. Now it's just the one enemy battleship remaining, and time though, right, is running down. There's what is that, 37 seconds remaining on the clock. So Puddahead's team's got this, even though that battleship, yeah, he can fire in on the Arkansas beta. Not such a big deal though. Arkansas beta has enough hit points remaining here to be able to absorb these shots. Doesn't matter that he's preventing him from capping, right, resetting the cap. No, at this point you're just going to run down the clock here, and you can see, right, with the limited time remaining, nothing can be done. So this was a great battle, and it really does take it back to never giving up. You just never want to give up. Always try, always, just do something. Don't just go off and die. Overall results, so 3 kills, 182 hits, 357,000 credits, 4,000 experience earned. Again, the Confederate, high caliber, and an arsonist earned. 17 fires as well. It was a great game. Now, overall results, you can see the Puddahead is top of the team, obviously, over double the points of the highest earning enemy ship on the enemy team there as well, so that's not too shabby at all. And there really were, some key players in the battle as well, specifically the aircraft carriers and that Arkansas beta. In terms of damage done, if you add up those numbers, we're looking at 119,000 damage done in this tier 5 battle. Yeah, pretty fantastic, I know. And at the end of the day, you get to walk away with over 300,000 credits, and that is always amazing, because you need that money for the higher tiers, right? It's what they munch on. Low tier credit earners. Anyway, that's today's video. I do hope you guys enjoyed it. Key message: just never give up. Always try something, think about the situation, keep that situational awareness going on, and try something out. You never know, it could work out in your favor, like it did for Puddahead here. So, as always, leave any comments you have for me in the comment section below. Love reading those, responding back to them. Hit the old like button if you did like today's video. And if you're not a subscriber as well, be sure to hit the subscribe button. You will not be disappointed with the content on the channel here. So as always, folks, I do hope you enjoy the rest of your day.